In this example, we're going to graph the linear inequality 4x minus 6y less than or equal to 12. To start, we could either use the intercept method to graph the corresponding equation, or we could use the slope-intercept form. In this video, I'm going to show the approach of solving for y and then using the slope-intercept form. So, first thing we're going to do is take this linear inequality, 4x minus 6y less than or equal to 12, and solve for y. So we'll put 4x minus 6y less than or equal to 12 in slope-intercept form. And again, we do that by solving for y. So we're going to take 4x minus 6y less than or equal to 12. We want to solve for y, so we'll subtract 4x from each side, giving us negative 6y less than or equal to 12 minus 4x. I'm going to rewrite that with x as the with negative 4x as the leading term there to get me closer to slope-intercept form. So I'll have negative 4x plus 12 on the right. On the left, I'll have negative 6y. So taking negative 6y less than or equal to negative 4x plus 12, I still need to solve for y. So I'm going to divide each side by a negative 6. And remember that when we divide each side of an inequality by a negative number, it reverses that inequality symbol. So now I have negative 6y over negative 6 greater than or equal to, and on the right side I have negative 4x plus 12, that quantity over negative 6. So each side was divided by negative 6 and that inequality sign flipped. Now to simplify that, on the left I'm going to have y, so now I have y greater than or equal to, and on the right that'll be negative 4x over negative 6 plus 12 over negative 6, breaking it up according to the rules of fractions, and then simplifying each of those fractions, I'll have y greater than or equal to 2/3 x plus a negative 2 or minus 2. Okay, so I have that linear inequality in slope-intercept form now. So the next thing I want to do is I will graph the corresponding equation, and this time I'm going to graph it as a solid line since I have greater than or equal. Okay, so I will graph y equals 2/3 x minus 2 as a solid line. And again, graphing it as a solid line is going to mean that I include where y is equal to 2/3 x minus 2, which I want to do since my symbol here is greater than or equal to. So coming over to my grid, I'm going to label those axes with x and y, and then I'll just label it off so that each tick mark is equivalent to 1 unit. So I'll label off 5 and 10 on each axis, and negative 5 and negative 10. Now, my slope here is 2/3, and my y-intercept is the point 0, negative 2. So coming over to this graph, I'll go to 0, negative 2. I'll plot a point there. And then my slope is 2/3, so it's positive 2 over positive 3. So I'll go up 2, right 3 units, and up 2, right 3 units again. And then that should be enough for me to connect these with a solid line. So I'll grab my ruler, and then I'll angle it so that it passes through all of these points. And now that it's lined up, I'll draw that solid line through those points. Okay, and then I'll put arrows on the ends of each of those. Okay, so I have y equals 2/3 x minus 2 graphed. The last step to graphing this linear inequality is to shade the region associated with the greater than sign. I have the equal to. I need greater than or equal to. So I will shade the region associated with y greater than or equal to 2/3 x minus 2. Okay. Now, there are a couple approaches that can be taken to figure out which side I need to shade. Since I have this in slope-intercept form, I can see that I need y values that are greater than or equal to that line. So I'm going to shade the side above this line. So coming over to my graph, I'm going to come in and shade this upper side. And I'll get it shaded as clearly as I can. All right. Okay, and so now what I have drawn is a visual representation, a graph of all ordered pairs where 4x minus 6y is less than or equal to 12.